Okay. Ani bonjour. Sorry about the delay. We had some technical difficulties, so we couldn't phone to our group that got to get a new number. So it's all taken care of now. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is 9:57. Al, do you want to do roll call, please?
Yeah, District 1. District 1. Here. District 2.
Here.
District 3.
Here.
And I'm here, Mr.
Yeah, we have a quorum. Which next up is review and approval of the agenda.
What happened at the TC?
The meeting went, we're just keeping it the way it is. It was on the urban election polling places. We're looking.
Yeah, are you gonna move it or did you do anything?
No, they were looking at changing the hours because of the curfews and stuff down here. But since the curfews got pushed up to 10 o'clock to 4 a.m., then we're just gonna leave them 8 to 8.
Okay.
All right, the review and approval of the agenda. A couple things I had. I think one of them we took care of was the sanitation. We're looking at hook truck and a packer. And I think the other one was just the softball donation from the Whiter softball team. So one thing I have to add. Did you get that request from Joe Mason?
No.
Is Joe in your district?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that statement that we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to add legal statement?
Yeah, RBC statement, George Blow.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Will you forward it to Amy, Joe? I didn't,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not on mine up there.
Yeah. Just,
And then she'll print it and bring it down.
okay.
Kathy, do you have anything to add? Ray?
Well, yeah, I do. Yes, the other day I voted for people moving down the end of the road, and I changed my mind on that. I said we haven't been contacted, and I don't think it'd be a good idea with this traffic. It's heavy as here.
Recreational.
What place?
Are you talking
So I
about the
want-
recreational stuff, Kathy?
No, I think the
Yeah, for next door to Leonard.
the lottery or whatever she said.
Oh.
Huh?
It was an executive session.
Yeah, but it was something that we're just, we'll talk about it.
Land?
We could just,
Land?
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'll put it, we can bring it up with Kathy.
Yeah,
Catherine's gonna be on again too, an executive session. We could talk about it then. Okay?
okay. But I'm opposed to it.
Okay.
What'd you vote in
Same as the
favor of?
neighbor.
Kathy, what
No,
did you
there was-
vote in favor of?
I voted in favor of giving a recreational park
Oh, okay.
down Leonard and in between Leonard and that isn't gonna work.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, motion to approve the agenda.
Did you wanna add?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I could please, Mr. Chair,
Yes, great, please.
I just got a quick thing here to bring up. I've gotten about 6 calls from different employees that are supposed to be going back to work for Shooting Star, and they just don't feel they're ready to go back. And I got one who has got his significant other has cancer, and they're making him go back, and he wants to be able to be with her as long as he can.
Yeah, we could
So
talk to
I'm-
Nicole and Shelley about that.
Yeah, that's what will be coming up today on a deal, so I wanna make sure that that's brought in there, because his significant other got cancer, and they don't know how long she's got, but they did give the father time off, but they won't give him time off, and I
Yeah.
just don't think that's right.
Hey, Ray,
Yep,
we've got, Nicola and Shelley are coming in during executive session and we can talk about it then.
okay, wonderful, thank you, Liz.
Okay.
Thank
I
you,
called
sir.
Kathy too, And I said, boy, did I make a big mistake on that one.
What?
So,
Who's
they know
that?
about it.
Kathy, who is that?
That is, you know where Leonard lives? Down by
Oh.
BA?
Yeah.
You know, there's a flow right there.
Oh,
And I don't think it'd be a good idea.
okay.
Oh, okay. All right, guys.
But La sounds better.
All right, Miguel, motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Kathy. Second by Umzi, all in favor?
Aye.
Al, yeah.
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
In
Favor
favor.
name this case?
Okay.
All in favor, Kathy say aye?
Yeah.
Did she? Okay,
Yeah.
motion carries. Okay.
Kathy?
Yes,
Okay, just want to make sure you were still there.
The meeting
I'm
minutes.
here.
Do we have the minutes, guys?
Yeah, there's a separate packet there.
I read one already. Well, this is the last one.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there anything on the, you hear anything from the day labor stuff?
No.
How about you, Liz?
They got a team together. It's Monica, Bowman, Doreen, Ben. They're working on it. They're gonna start they're working to start the day labor with that cleanup project. That's like a pilot project type thing to get going, and Scott's on that too to work that out.
Okay.
So they are working on it.
All right. All right, motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 21st, 2020. Motion by Umzi. Second?
Second.
Second by Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is calendar review. Anything on the calendar?
Yeah.
I just wanted to put up, Mr. Chair, that we just had, for those folks watching at home, and Ray, I didn't think you were on that call there for TEC. I'm not sure if you were or not, but they are proceeding with the elections, the TEC. They just met this morning, and then on Sunday, they're gonna do a reassessment of the situation down there in case it's still safe. And folks can expect to have coordination between the MCT and the State Emergency Operations Center to make sure that our voters are safe and secure. And I think they also stated that the band should increase their security posture at the polling places so that voters are safe and secure. And the election is next Tuesday?
Yep.
Next Tuesday.
Where at though?
All over.
Clifton Place is ours.
Yeah, the Clifton place in the urban area.
But did we get any damage?
No.
Just some
No.
graffiti.
Yeah, I
It's
think
just
we got
graffiti
some
is
minor
all.
graffiti.
Well, they also mentioned about the absentees where them, post offices that were burnt down. I think we could almost look in our, for those who might have mailed them in and they didn't get them, maybe they should be a letter sent out to them to go vote at the precinct. Cause I know there was a couple of them, one of them was burnt down and a couple were closed, the post offices.
Pretty bad
I
when
know
they
they
did
brought
that.
that up on the.
Yeah, I think we should probably put out a statement or something like that. Election board could put out a statement
Yeah.
saying, if you fear that your absentee hasn't been processed, you can vote in person still, right? So.
All right.
I think it's gonna be pretty low
Yeah,
right now,
because-
so people are gonna not gonna want
If
to.
some of those got burnt up in there or got lost in that mail, then their vote's not gonna count, you know?
Yeah. And I think the machines, they actually can tell you can't vote twice, it'll reject the ballot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think so too. I think they got,
Encourage them to,
yeah, they can vote. I'm pretty sure those machines, they reject, you can't vote twice.
Cause you gotta sign in on that tablet or whatever.
Because we're using the electronic system now,
Yeah.
so you can't vote twice.
But what's to say that
Morning. Yeah, I'm right there.
mail an absentee already out there?
Well, when the absentee comes back,
Yeah,
that's when it'll get counted.
yeah.
But if the absentee doesn't make it back and they vote in person, then that's where it'll get counted, because there's a code attached to that voter's name. Yeah.
Okay,
so you want a statement, say your statement again, I'm sorry.
Just the
If
election
they-
board, if they're, because of the fires at the post offices down there, and voters, that haven't had an
yeah, I think they
opportunity
should
to
get
vote
something out. I
absentee.
think they should get something out right away, just to let them know.
Yeah, just haven't put together a statement.
how are they gonna find out though?
Well, they could call.
Well, we don't know.
They should be able to call down to the election board to see if their individual ballot has been received, right?
Okay,
I don't know if they allow them to do that. They'd have to-
On an individual level? I'm not sure.
Not sure if they
Because
can
Just-
either.
they might be, might say that somebody else, you know, and it might not be that same.
Well, let them talk about it and see what they can come up with. Yeah, let the election board talk about it.
So then Thursday, you guys are going down and making that run down to cities then? Is that Thursday morning or whenever that is?
Yeah, supply,
That supply run?
medical, yeah,
medical? Okay.
yeah.
All right, is Sarah on the phone?
Sarah? I don't have her number to call her. I don't have a cell phone number either. I have to email her. I sent her the calling number. See if I can email her. Who else? Tom? Tom? Tom, are you on?
Pretty sure they can contact.
You sent him the new one?
Yep, I'm gonna see if I can respond to him. He said, when should I call? And I said, now.
Oh,
So
Well, we
hopefully,
can do some signature requests, unless you guys want to talk about that. I know I had a softball donation from Joe Heister and the White Earth, I'm not sure if the White Earth boys, the White Earth softball team. They're requesting a donation so they could help offset some of their expenses for some of the leagues, Waban League and Fossen League, so they're like requesting $500, so.
they did go to the donation committee last season for it. They requested outside of guidelines because they don't, Teresa's donation committee doesn't do adult teams or whatever.
But I think with COVID and being it's a healthy sport, I guess, or it's a sport, an athletic sport, I think that we should be somehow supporting our health and wellness of our band members, especially.
And if they are
Especially with
gonna put out
diabetes,
for
I guess,
softball, it should be let out to everybody, because I know some of the teams up here were asking, and I said, I don't know with the COVID going on, I'm not sure even if they're gonna have leagues. So if they are gonna have the leagues, I think, some of the ones up here should be allowed or let known when they're gonna do it.
Here it says right here, election board members shall not disclose by any means information about request for absentee ballots to any person except to the voter to whom the request pertains. So individual voters may contact the board on the status of their ballot. Yes. Yeah, I mean, what do you wanna do?
What are you gonna do with the request for softball?
I don't know, I could take it out of my funding, I suppose.
You want a motion now?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, take it out of my funding.
All right, Umzi's motion to approve the softball donation to Joe Heister and the Whiter softball team.
Motion.
Or second by Kathy. All in favor? Motion carried.
I just wanted to state that I'll take it out of my funding.
Yeah.
So, I ain't gonna have to go to the donations committee
Okay.
for it.
Okay, thanks. Then the next one is the, well, we talked about the sanitation stuff. I know they're getting bids ready for a hook truck, and I think Umzi talked about a packer,
Yeah.
what it was. So we're looking at some different equipment, some heavier equipment for our sanitation, all over in Wobbin, so. We are gonna, looks like we are gonna move forward with that, so. Then the legal statement, we have a letter here that was drafted up by our legal team pertaining to, the incident that happened last week with, George Floyd, the Whiters. We did an official letter stating that, all 5 council members, that we,
Did you guys get a copy of that letter?
No.
Raymond, did you get a copy of that
I
letter?
don't think we did either.
that was addressed to Keith Ellingson, so that we will,
So, can we read it now?
well, you want to.
All right, this says, for public release, a statement, for George Floyd, COVID-19 and, the way forward. So it says, on behalf of the White Earth Nation, we first take the time to extend our sincere sympathies and heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and community of George Floyd, who died in police custody on May 25th. White Earth has been woven into the fabric of the Minneapolis community for decades. The intense emotions felt by our urban community in Minneapolis were also felt on the White Earth Reservation. Historically, Native American communities and Black communities have the highest rates of people killed by police in the United States when compared to their percentage of the U.S. population. It is understandable that Mr. Floyd's death has been the catalyst for several demonstrations across the world, both peaceful and violent. We share in the demand for accountability and put faith in Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, Public Safety Commissioner John Harrington, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and other leaders to see that justice is neither delayed nor denied. We request all law enforcement agencies, including our White Earth Tribal Police Department, continue to review their respective use of force procedures to ensure lethal means are truly used only as a last resort and to always implement community-oriented policing training and protocols. We support our tribal members and employees in their exercise of their First Amendment right to free speech. We must also be mindful that we are in the midst of a pandemic and extreme caution should be used if a tribal member or employee participates in public demonstrations. For the safety of you and individuals in your community, we recommend adhering to our COVID-19 guidelines, including the following. Stay home whenever possible. Wear a mask at all times in public. Wash your hands often. Avoid close contact with others. Avoid crowded places and mass gatherings. Monitor your health. If experiencing symptoms, stay home unless seeking medical care and self-isolate for at least 10 days since the symptoms first appeared. Symptoms include fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, and or diarrhea. Be symptom-free for at least 3 days before returning to normal activities. Cover your coughs and sneezes. Clean and sanitize surfaces often. In addition to following the COVID-19 guidelines, we urge demonstrators to center their demonstrations around the 7 Anishinaabe teachings: Debwewin, truth; Zagidiwin, mutual love; Manajidiwin, mutual respect; Dabasain Dizawin, humility; Nibwakawin, wisdom; Zungadewin, bravery, strong heart; and Wayakwadizewin, honesty, doing what is right. We are hopeful when we hear reports of Migizi Communications Incorporated receiving thousands of donated to rebuild their facility, seeing food and supplies poured to Little Earth to help our urban relatives, and seeing our tribal members and employees volunteer their time and resources. We are also aware of information regarding extremists whose only motive is to incite violence within our communities and further divide our efforts for positive change. We must avoid being lured down paths of destruction by those who actively oppose our values. White Earth Nation remains committed to finding solutions that balance the need for the law to be enforced and upheld in our communities, while also ensuring that our protectors do not exceed their authority. We know the work will not be easy, but hard work is necessary to be successful in our endeavor to live Minopimadiziwan, the good life. Very respectfully, all 5 of us.
You guys want to do consensus on this? Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're all good with that. Is Sarah on here now?
Yes, Sarah's on there.
I'm here.
Kathy wants to know who wrote the letter.
It was a combination between the Emergency Operations Center team, our medical providers, the White Earth Police Department, and the White Earth Tribal Council. If you recall, we sent input from each of those.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we have Sarah on the line. Sarah, are you on?
Yep, I'm here. You got the floor, ma'am.
Yeah, tell her not to say names because.
Yeah, don't say names, so.
We're on live TV.
Well, I try not to, but you guys do.
Snap.
So I have, what is it? I have 8 home sites. 7 of them are legal description updates, and then 1 is a new site.
Six are District 2 and 1 is District 3.
Where's this number 7 at located? Where's that section 2? Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in White Earth. It's, he's actually going next to his mom's house.
Oh.
See, I thought only, a person was only allowed 1 lease lot or a lake lot?
You can have a lake shore and you can have a home site too.
So you're actually allowed 2 lake lots.
Okay.
Because to my understanding on, I don't know if do we deal with Heart Lake down there by that campground down there? Is that part of ours or?
Yep, we have Heart Lake.
Okay, now to my understanding, there's a guy there that has 3 lake lots there. And this guy yesterday was telling me about it, and he was pretty upset because he's been trying to get a lake lot there. And he said this guy has got 3 lake lots down there, and he don't think that's right.
There's several lake lots open up there at Heart Lake, I see on the map.
There's 16. Lake
Or what else?
There is a lot of lake lots that are open.
Yeah,
We're not quite sure how we're gonna move forward with, how to, like, lease them out, because we'd have to do like a lottery or something, and I think Catherine was gonna sit down and talk to you guys about it.
I see on that map, I see on that map, Raymond, there's several lake lots available up there at Heart Lake. I just got that map from Catherine.
We actually have to.
Well,
We
I'll have to
actually
let
have
him know
several
that.
lake lots of, no, say we have several lake lots available on all of our lots, right? But we just don't know how much we want to crowd them up.
Yeah, but you know, some of these people have been trying to put in for the last 3-4 years for these lake lots, and now you got some that are just putting in. I would think these ones that are putting in time and time again, that they should be automatically moved in instead of put into a lottery deal. I mean, to be fair.
That's an executive session. Ray, we're gonna talk about that with Catherine. It's on the agenda. She'll be on during executive
Yeah,
session.
I know that.
Okay.
I thought we were into that right now. Sorry.
No, we're not.
All right, so we have a motion for the home sites.
Motion.
Motion by Umsey, second.
Second.
Second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, motion carries. All right, next up is, the Lake Shore lots. Sarah?
Yep, I have two modifications and then a cancellation and a new lease.
Motion.
Motion by Umsey, second.
And we can't say who those are for.
No, not.
Okay, all my stuff is on, I have all my stuff on my agenda.
Well, 3 are in District 3, 1 is in District 2.
Which one?
Well, we can't say names on TV, Cat.
Oh, yeah. Call me.
So motion by Umsey. You guys got a copy of the,
They didn't get a packet?
They got a packet in their packet, but I didn't email them this,
I think Maria emailed them, so.
which I'll have to
Yeah,
email.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Alan, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Now is it, hopefully they rescind.
No, this is for, just for.
I'm sorry on that.
Did you hear Ray silent?
Oh, what happened now?
Ray is silent.
Oh, Ray Selling?
Kathy
Cool.
hasn't.
Yep, I'm sorry.
Kathy, you
Oh,
vote?
either.
Huh?
There's one on Long Lost Lake and the rest are on Net Lake down here in District 3.
One is mine though, right?
Yep, modification on Long Lost Lake.
I think she's been turning that into a resort, like, for campers.
I think you authorized that.
No, not on that one,
We ain't
Kathy.
go to that yet.
No, we ain't doing none of that, Kath.
No, I don't want down here.
No, me neither.
But this is just for a modification, Kathy. You have one on Long Lost Lake, so.
Okay. Must be mine.
So are you in favor? Kathy, are you in favor of the modification?
No.
Oh,
So we have 2 for it.
yeah, I'm for it, so
Okay.
I say yes.
Mike broke the tie again.
All right,
I wouldn't actually be a tie anyway.
all right.
One with silent, two for, one against, and one silent, so it wouldn't actually be a tie.
Oh, yeah, it would be, yeah, we would go along with the majority. Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
Ray,
majority
You
rule.
take- you get that,
Thanks, Sarah.
Two silent.
So it did go to majority, which is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, majority rule, the silent doesn't count, so.
all right. All right, next up are the business leases. There's 1, 2, just 2 of them. District 1 and District 2. One is for the Rice Lake Community Cemetery, and the other one is for Moms and Mats in District 2.
That's for the NATO Wash facility.
Yeah. You get a motion for that?
Which one you most, Chair?
This is for the business.
Rice Lake Community Cemetery and Moms and Mats and Nadawash.
And are you doing them together or separate?
No, together, business.
Okay, motion.
Motion by Ray, second.
Second.
Second by Umsey, all in favor?
Right.
Aye.
My motion carries.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, go with it.
Tom, are you on?
This needs to be signed or what?
Yep, I'm here.
By, the chair, the secretary, treasurer.
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, so on Friday, I had sent to Liz an MOU, a signatory request form and a resolution for the 2020 hemp growing season. Basically, that MOU stated, that there is an untapped potential with hemp on Whitehorse Reservation, and the hemp board is looking for funding from the Administration General Fund in the amount of $245,000 for the 2020 growing season, and this includes costs for planting, startup, and also harvesting. And then I believe, Veronica, are you on?
No, she's not.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, she is.
Okay, I believe there's some questions that Veronica was going to follow up on in regards to some of the legality of this.
Oh, yeah, is that popcorn over to me?
Yes, Ronnie.
I was going to just throw it over to you, Steve.
Sure, yep. So the question that was posed from the last RBC meeting was whether or not it's permissible to go forward with our state permit. And I did send an email, and I'm not sure if it got further distributed, but I did send an email that basically the legal analysis is that, it's sort of uncharted territory, but given the circumstances and the facts as they are, I think it's appropriate that we can go ahead and proceed with our permit through the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. Really, it's the individual, Mr. Westerman, who has the permit. And so I think based on that and his relationship with us, I think that we're okay proceeding. But also the analysis basically indicates that I think that this is the only year that we'll be able to do that. Because the state of Minnesota has submitted their plan for approval to the USDA, or at least was in the process of doing that the last time I checked. And so their pilot program is only extended through December of this year. So once that pilot program is done, we're not going to be able to maintain a permit through the state. So I think that for this growth season, I think we're okay. For next year's growth season, I definitely think that we need to develop our own tribal plan and get that submitted to USDA for approval, so that come next growth season, we'll have that in place, and then we'll be able to sort of operate and do it independently. But
Veronica, I believe that's part of the plan right now.
Yep, and that's outlined in the contract. That's part of the overall goal of the hemp board or the hemp team, I guess. And so, there's just lots of tasks that we're working on right at the moment, but that the main question was whether or not we could proceed as permitted currently, and I think that yes, we can.
Where's that letter at?
You're talking
Which letter are you
about
looking for?
Yeah, your email there.
I had sent it to Liz in the hemp team, so it doesn't look like I sent it to the RBC, but I can.
Can you send it right now
I'll
so
send it
I
right
can
now.
take a look at it right quick?
Yep. Yes, I can. I'll send it right now.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned there was some grant funding available also for this?
We actually just submitted the grant Their day was due yesterday. We got it submitted yesterday morning. So we'll see how that goes. We requested $150,000 through that grant opportunity.
I'm just waiting on the thing here. So you're asking for how much again?
$245,000.
We're looking for $245,000. That will include, or that's for this hemp growing season, for planting, harvesting, startup, our consultant fees, and the cost of the seedling starter plant.
Just waiting for this. Well, I'd like to read this letter here first before is that okay if I just take a couple minutes to read this letter here? Oh, there it is right there. Okay. You want to read it,
Sure.
Okay. It's right here. Oh, do you want me to read it aloud?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ray, I got it here too, and Kath says,
Okay.
hi everyone, following up on request from RBC for me to do a more thorough analysis of whether we need a USDA hemp permit in order to plant for 2020 grow season. We did some brainstorming with Shonda and the legal department, and I think it's okay to move forward with planting with Mr. Westerman having a permit through the state. This may seem like a shift from my previous position, but it is not a full-blown shift. It is just more thorough analysis of Mr. Westerman as a non-tribal employee and our agent and how that ties White Earth in the state. This is consistent with May 2019 guidance clarifying that tribes wanting to grow industrial hemp for the 2019 grow system were authorized to grow under the provisions of the 2014 Farm Bill, which is essentially what we are doing, except not as directly, but through our consultant, Mr. Westerman. Per his contract, he does not have the ability to bind the tribe, meaning the hemp license he has through Minnesota Department of Agriculture is his own, and he's solely responsible for all that goes with that license. Under Minnesota law, the applicant must meet federal requirements, so I don't think that the federal government will take issue with how we proceed. Mr. Westerman is obligated to follow those federal debt standards. The applicant must demonstrate to the satisfaction of the Commissioner of Ag that the applicant has complied with all the applicable federal requirements pertaining to the production, distribution, and sale of industrial hemp. The part where it gets a little tricky is when the state needs to come out to the field to inspect the crops and ensure the crops meet testing standards, because that property is ours and not supposed to be subject to state civil regulatory jurisdiction, since the state lacks that jurisdiction within the reservation boundaries in other aspects, like traffic violations, for instance. However, Mr. Westerman is not a tribal member, so the jurisdictional analysis gets a little murky. We have civil regulatory jurisdiction over our tribal members in the reservation boundaries, but we do not have civil regulatory jurisdiction over non-tribal members. Technically, the state would be coming out to inspect Mr. Westerman's plants. Really, all of it is the tribes, but out of the state side of things, it appears to be Mr. Westerman's. And if there are any violations, they go to Mr. Westerman directly. There is a potential for us not to grant the state permission to come onto our property and inspect, but that would jeopardize Mr. Westerman's permit and then precariously affect our overall operation. And so long as we are cooperative with the Minnesota Department of Agriculture regarding the inspection and testing, we should be okay. I'm not sure whether MDA is aware that the property anticipated to be connected to Mr. Westerman's license will be tribally owned property, and I don't know that even if that information was disclosed, that MDA would be aware that it's technically Indian country. But so long as we submit to their jurisdiction for at least entering our property and allowing our plants to be tested for the next few months, and really probably only at harvest time, we should be okay. There may seem to be some risk involved using us giving Mr. Westerman our seeds, our equipment, our property to push the project forward, but we would have legal recourse against him if it goes south. Since Minnesota is extending the 2014 pilot project, which has previously approved by the federal government through December 2020, and we previously pursued our hemp program under a state program, I think this year's grow for industrial hemp with a permit from MDA is workable. Is also short-term from now until December 2020. I don't believe this will be an option next year since the pilot project will likely not be in effect. MDA is submitting a plan for USDA approval and we should have our own plan in place and approved by USDA for the 2020 growth season, May 2021. That's the best educated opinion and advice. Please share with the RBC as needed. I received Tom's signatory request, which will be done in the morning before the meeting. Okay. So I have it clear in my head. So it sounds like we're more of an investor is what it kind of sounds like. So Mr. Westerman, the license it's under Westerman's name, right? And it's just the stuff is being grown on the reservation, and if there are any issues, he's gonna
There are consequences.
he'll bear the consequences. But it seems like there's a possibility there could be some gray area because the tribe is responsible for civil regulatory jurisdiction. And so, does that sound accurate, Ronnie?
Yes, it's still new, and I haven't got a clear picture, but between Shanda and myself and, our long discussions about it and our analysis of it and whether or not, Mr. Westerman would be an employee of the tribe, I think if it was us or if it was any of our, on the books employees, who are actual legit employees, I think then that would probably change the analysis. But because he's an independent contractor with us and doesn't have the ability to bind us, I think that you're right. I think it is more of an investor kind of relationship, where, we're hoping that he, guides us in a good way.
So, and just so I'm trying to distill this all down in my head. So it's more along the lines of Mr. Westerman has a business opportunity to grow hemp for us, and for us to make $5 million, we've got to fork over $245,000 so he can grow that. And in exchange, we get the profits based upon that relationship, and he's going to put tribal members to work.
And teach, I think.
And teach.
Yeah.
So that's the business relationship.
That's what I understood.
Okay, so the other question I have, so we have like Doug Lee and some other tribal members that have been asking for investments. And certainly they're not as sophisticated as Mr. Westerman. So what does that mean what sort of message are we going to send to our tribal members or other tribal members that may want to do this sort of stuff, this sort of work?
Well, I think that they have to have like a business plan, and they have what Westerman did, and then hopefully that they can team up with this outfit to learn.
I think part of what Richard Salver is hoping to do is bring in the people like Doug Lee and other enrolled members and show them how to do it all and how to do it all the right way. So I think that's part of his vision when he partnered with us, was to take on that role of kind of a mentor to our local farmers that want to get into the business.
That was my understanding too.
So I think it's not only the RBC working with Richard, it's also wider community members who want to get into business working with Richard.
Okay, so I'm just viewing this as a business opportunity and an investment. That's the way I see it as. I mean, it's not a tribal entity. He's a businessman. He's looking to grow some industrial hemp. He's looking for an investor, and he's going to help out some community members. Does that sound accurate?
It does, but I want to know what other reservations is he working for besides us. I know that Flandre was mentioned a couple times, and so I was wondering how many people, how many reservations is he attached to?
Hang on one sec, Kathy. I gotta pull up that bio again.
In our group, I think that he has his own equipment that he's gonna be using, right? To plant the seeds and everything?
At this point, to kind of expedite the process, he has recommended that he can bring out some of his own equipment just to get the ball rolling. Because I think he's hoping if everything's approved and everything's good to go, that we can kind of start breaking ground by the end of this week, early next week.
And I know some of our members are kind of depending on us also to use some of our equipment, and we don't really have that equipment to plant and grow with. I mean, I don't, but as long as this guy's got his own equipment and everything that he can do.
Yeah, he says he has the ability to bring his own tractor and disc plow to get the process started.
Well, maybe he could work something out with Doug and help Doug out then maybe and doing Doug's parcel of land. I don't know.
Like I said, it's only 20 acres, so.
Well, I mean, I'd be in favor of helping Mr. Westerman if we can help out some of our other tribal members. That's just the way I stand.
Yeah, same here.
And then the other
That's
thing
the way I
is,
look at it too.
you know, when this gets approved, because it sounds like it's gonna get approved, I'm gonna ask Ronnie, are you on the phone? Ronnie? Hello?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah, so the only thing, so when this gets approved here, I'm just gonna request, I'll come visit you. I'm gonna put together a sign-in order of some of the recommendations. So I'll be signing the resolution, but I'll issue a sign-in order as well to go along with that resolution of some of the things that are kind of in the gray area. That way we can mitigate some in case any issues come up. So.
Okay.
Okay, so you ready for the motion? All right, guys.
Ronnie, how many do we have?
I'm sorry, Kathy, one more time?
Pardon me?
What are you asking, Kathy?
I am.
Asking what?
How many growers do we have?
We only got this one guy, but
Really?
I'm sure he'll be recruiting other tribal members.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, I'd
But
like,
we had more than one.
well, if he's gonna do this, I'd like Tom and them to help Doug and whoever else. That's, and they got a template how to get this together now. Right? See how you help
Yeah,
them?
that's something we'll plan on doing.
I mean, I'm dead serious. I'd like to see something by next week in case these other tribal members come forward.
Exactly.
That'd be the only reason I would support this. So long as the same opportunity.
I want to get moving.
Yeah.
And make sure that these tribal members can get licensed and stuff too, you know, that's another thing.
Have you called for a motion yet, Michael?
All right, are you ready? It goes, therefore resolved that the White Earth Reservation Business Committee hereby commits $245,000 of total funding to the general fund for the 2020 hemp growing season, which includes $113,000 planting and startup and $53,000 for harvesting. Authorize Michael Fairbanks, Chairman, to execute this agreement. So, you have a motion?
No, does Doug have to go through the state for the license, or do we got a license for it? I think you have to go through the state, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to follow state guidelines.
And he's gotta go down to the state, but he's got that Star Lake, so it's not even on the reservation. So he'd fall under the state like Mr. Westerman does.
Exactly.
So we got a motion to approve the, what do you say? Motion to approve Richard Westerman's contract and hemp planting business plan.
Motion.
Motion by Ray. Second?
Second?
Second by Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion carried. And I think in the back too, should I say what, that's for buying seeds. Just seeds in a purchaser. Those are those lease things. Anything else with hemp? Or was that it? Yes.
That was it.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right, next up is some signature
Put that
requests.
motion, Tom.
First one I got is Michael Bowman, WeDOT. This is for a request for technical assistance, applying. Applying for the Bureau of Indian Affairs request for technical assistance, the BIA.
Motion.
Motion by Umsey, second.
Second.
Second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion
Aye.
carried.
When you gonna finish that at the water tower? One question I want to give them.
The next one is Susan Bishop, Adult Basic Education. Cover ABA program operating expenditures, $22,000 to $25,000.
Continuation.
Continuation.
Motion.
Motion by Umsey,
Aye.
second by Al, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Did I figure? Okay, good. Next one is Veronica Newcomer, legal. This is for two LLC requests.
Tiger King Motors.
One is for Olson Drywall, and the other one is for Indigenous Trades.
I got a Tiger King
Tiger
Motors.
King Motors.
Where's that one at?
Oh, they must have stuck together. It should be above the one ahead of that one.
Hang on. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, here you go.
Motion.
All right, motion by Umsey for your Pine Point, Tiger King Motors. Second?
Second.
Second by
What is
Alan.
that for?
That's a business license.
Oh, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Aye.
The next one is two more LLCs, one for Olson Drywall and Indigenous Trades LLC.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Alan, second by Umsey, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is Pat Thompson, EMP, CARES Act supplemental funding application. Pandemic amount is 87,000, so we must be accepting that now.
Looks like it's for an application.
Oh, we're applying for it?
Oh.
CARES Act and CSBG supplemental funding application. From Minnesota Department of Human Services Office of Economic Opportunity Fund will be used for EMP operating expenses in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Motion?
What's this one?
For the EMP.
What are they doing?
Application to receive funding from
From the CARES Act.
MDH, yeah. Carries that 87,000.
Oh, here it is. So
It's actually to submit the CARES Act supplement funding application. So they're asking permission to do this.
oh, to apply for.
Yeah.
Yeah, motion.
All right, motion by Alan,
Motion.
second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's good.
Next one is Cindy Ronstadt for Public Health Amendment stating tribal government versus 501c3. This is a managed project. The amount is 15,000 plus diaper drop. Helping caregivers of children of 0 to 5. Match required, no.
Motion.
$15,000. So motion by Umsey, second
Second.
by Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Anything?
It just needs your signature.
She has all of them down there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll sign it. Next one is Courtney Pemberton Economic Development, the grants, the amount she's applying for is a $75,000 grant for juvenile justice grants to reduce the elimination of ethnic and racial disparities in Minnesota's juvenile justice system.
Continuation.
A continuation. Motion?
Continuation?
Yeah.
Motion?
The resolution says authorizes the Whiter Circle Back program to apply for the grant. Oh, a continuation. I see what you're, yep.
All right, motion by Kathy, second. Second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The next one is Whiter's Reservation, Kim, child care licensing. A variance for school age, 3 months. District 2 variance.
Is this Courtney?
No, this is for Kim Lewis.
Oh, Kim Lee.
For child
Oh,
variance for her kids.
What does that mean?
She's trying to get more kids, or she's like age limit or something.
Like
take younger kids or take more kids?
May 26th to September 2nd.
Looks
Total
like
of
she
15
wants
children with a
to
helper.
take more children than what's usually in the guidelines for the summer.
And she'll get a
But she
helper.
says she's got a helper that's gonna come
Have
in
we,
too.
has the, medical people looked at this yet? And given the pandemic and all
Mhm.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, maybe they should check into this too, because we're gonna need some childcare when we start putting people back to work here, you know, and stuff too, so.
that, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta make sure to reach out to EOC on these guys too.
You maybe have them take a look at these.
Our LLCs, yeah.
Any idea when we're gonna put our people back to work?
Coming up, hang on.
Come on up, Kath.
All right, so do we have a motion for the variance?
Well, I was gonna see if we can send it over to EOC to have the docs look at it.
Yeah, maybe better.
All right,
Yeah.
table this.
So
one.
it's, well, you can bring back as soon as they put together some statements on it or something, you know.
All right, next one is Ron Buckanaga Education. This one is for a continuation amendment.
Continuation, yeah.
Becker County Children's Initiative Joint Powers Agreement.
Yeah, motion.
Motion by Alan, second. Second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is Lisa MacArthur, Finance. This one, revised resolution per IHS request.
Make sure this gets out today to the press and then.
Can you bring a resolution for our trustee
Did
class?
you guys wanna sign?
Well, we're not gonna be able to, you just put it. Just a PDF or something, or an image.
Well, we should be able to figure that out, final version.
Must be trying to redo the resolution per IHS request. In the old resolution, some wording in there.
Can I look at it?
Huh? What is that? What are they trying to do here?
Well, they're rewording the resolution because per IHS. The resolution that we passed back.
Oh, they just need us amended for.
Yeah, they needed to change some wording. It was passed on May 21st.
Yeah.
At 1:40, so.
Yeah.
All right, motion by Alan,
Yeah.
second by Umsey, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Very good. All right, next one is Clinton Alexander, Behavioral Health, a new document, resolution contract, grantees, duties on page 4, $35,000 per year for 3 years, $105,000, no match. Department of Health.
Yeah.
Yeah. Motion?
Yeah.
Motion by Allen, second by Umsey, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is Pat Butler, Health Nursing Services. This one is a $1,500 EMS third-party funding.
It's already obtained EMS specialty software.
Okay.
I almost need that for pharmaceuticals, pediatric, for kids,
Motion to get some software for the EMS team.
How much?
$1,500.
Oh,
Motion by Alan, second.
second.
Second by Kathy, all in favor?
uh,
Motion carries.
Aye.
Pat Butler, Health Division, this one is authority for HD to accept Belmar funding from IHS. We'll get $29,000 from the IHS area office.
Motion.
Motion by Umsey, second.
Second.
Second by Kathy, all in favor? Motion carries. Next one is Regan Hendrickson for child support. This one is for spending, a managed project, OCSE. $12,000 anyways.
Assessment on the infrastructure of child support, security measures, IT security for use of the federal parent local system portal.
Motion now?
Yes.
Motion by Allen, second by Umsey, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is, Chris from IT. This one is for financial reports, accepting amount of grant, $200,000. Approval and signing the Northwest Minnesota Foundation Billing Systems for Prevent and Community Homelessness Grant awarded by homeless in conjunction with technology. Senate.
Oh, the IT that we approved, they got their grant, it looks like $200,000, that's a good thing.
Okay, motion to accept that $200,000.
Yeah, motion.
Motion by Allen. Second by Umsey, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is,
Executive session.
oh, these are executive sessions? Okay. Alright. Alright, me good, we're gonna go into executive executive session, so. You go, my man, you got it? Plus we're gonna break.
It's raining.
Take a break. You ready?